for real. HIV is something that was created to the media and to the TV.
Now is the perfect time for the world to truly understand what happened to this incredible boxer and great man who basically was knocked out by the medical industry in the fraudulent system that they put him through, all because he was probably going to take out Tyson in a few fights, and he was going to rewrite all the rules of boxing and do so much more. And they put this guy through hell for years. He did tons of research. He was an amazing fighter, an absolute warrior for truth, and nobody listened at his time. Now we're seeing the same thing happening with the coronavirus that he went through with HIV, different celebrity spokespeople, different things where the treatment ends up killing more than it ends up saving, and the same people profiting, Fauci and all these other people that have been there through that epidemic and on to this one. And we have to stop them now. It's time to knock out the medical fraud industry. And here, I'll let him talk for himself. He did an interview on August 11th, and he will tell you better than I ever could. So listen to the clips from that video, from that interview, his final interview, that are so relevant to today, it's ridiculous. I hope this avenges him a little bit, and I hope people start to realize the true fight and battle we are all in for. We have to end the medical fraud system. Here we go, Tommy.
You know what? I had just signed a $38.5 million contract. It's a 3-fight contract with Don King. As a matter of fact, the very first of those 3 fights was the one when I was supposed to fight Stormy Weathers in Vegas, when they sent me to take a test, and what started all this fraud that kicked me out of the sport.
Now, what you're referring to is in '96 when your boxing career got cut short due to a blood test coming back HIV positive from the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Did you know that?
How did they?
Well, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, how did they inform you that? How did they inform you that?
Well, this is the weird part. You know, when someone flunks a test, they give you, there's 3 different tests in the market that they've been using for, 30 years. One's the ELISA, one's the PCR, and the other one's a Western blot. Well, I took a Western blot and failed it. Well, protocol is for them to give you a confirmatory test. The ELISA has a confirmatory test. They never offered me anything. I tested it, and I never saw anything that said I flunked it. I'm in my hotel room. What happened? I went and got something to eat like I normally do. Mm-hmm. And I went for a little stroll out on the strip. Woke up my meal, which is what I did every time. Came back to my room. My message light was blinking. So I picked it up, and it was my promoter up in his suite. And he said, "You need to come up here. We're gonna make sure everybody has everything. We have a little meeting, and we'll head over." I said, "Okay, I'll see you in 5." So I went up there and knocked on the door. I can't remember. I think my trainer opened it, and immediately, the looks on everybody's face was this fucked up. I'm sorry.
No, you can say whatever you want, man. It's all good.
Okay. And I knew immediately that something was wrong. I figured my opponent pulled out. Could have been a number of different things. And Tony Holden, who was my promoter, said, "Tommy, I don't know any other way to tell you this than just come out and tell you." He said, you flunked your medical exam. They said you tested positive for HIV. He said, "Now the media's swarming all over the hotel. We got to get you out of here." I'm like, my head's swirling, anyhow, he took me down some elevator shaft out the back door, and took me to the airport. My trainer was with me. He lived in Atlanta at the time, but when we hit Atlanta, he went home. And I had to hit a couple more cities before I got, back to Tulsa. Tulsa is the international airport. And I think I ended up landing around 2:30 or 3. And I'm walking through the airport. Didn't have any luggage. They said, just go. We'll bring it to you later. Which I thought was kind of weird. Nobody ever called me, showed me. There was no second test, no confirmatory test. It's like, okay, you can't buy any more ever, get the fuck out of town, pretty much. So I hit Tulsa. Like I said, it was about 2:30 or 3 in the morning. I can't remember exactly.
So you're by yourself this whole time, thinking that
by myself.
You're by yourself. Yeah. They just told you you have HIV. What's running through your mind at that point?
Well, my whole team, which is about 7 or 8 other people, stayed there to watch the fight. Yeah, so I thought that was weird. My trainer went with me, but he got off at Atlanta, and anyway, I walked through the airport about 3:00, and had a cap on. And I walked past one of those little bars or whatever that's in the airport. And, there were about 30, 40 people all gathered around the TV, and I looked up on the TV, and it was me. I was on there. So I just kind of pulled down my hat and went on. So that's how I was, excommunicated from a sport that I obviously helped make popular.
Now, at that point, do all your
talking, it had a picture of a guy named Dr. Richard Wilner from Spain, and he was injecting himself with HIV positive blood. Well, on the back, hey, guys, when we get into this here in a minute, you're going to be blown away. HIV does exist. The government created it all through propaganda. I mean, there's not one doctor on the face of the planet that can show you, me, the neighbor, Scooby-Doo, Jimmy Crack Corn, can show you a picture of what this virus looks like. Now, on the internet, they do have, a couple pictures of some computer-generated, picture of HIV, and it's a beautiful picture. I mean, all kinds of fluorescent colors. But there's a process that, before a disease is accepted, into, the medical, whatever, there's a 7-step process, they have to go through to isolate, a virus. Well, Dr. Robert Gallo, I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yep, I know who he is.
Have you? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I call him the inventor, because he discovered shit. But he damn sure invented it. Anyhow, on, 4 or 5 different occasions, he tried to put it through, the 7-step purification isolation process. And each time, in step number 3, it just fell apart. So this is a theory that's never been proven. No one has ever seen an HIV, and the reason why is because it doesn't exist. They were taking all kinds of crap, trying to, they started out with, what was it, babe? The disease, leukemia, right? Took leukemia, mixed some of that in there, a little duck shit. trying to get, because they can manipulate something if it's there. If it's alive, they can manipulate and get to do pretty much what they want. But this is just like somebody spit a loogie in a petri dish. There was nothing live in there. It's crazy.
Now, but when you're in that situation where they tell you, okay, you have HIV, do you instantaneously, as soon as you get home, go to a doctor, get another test? Did that happen right away?
Well, a couple of days later it did. I had to have a... it would take me 3 days to tell you everything that has transpired since 1996.
But it's
strange
when
things,
you home,
weird things.
Did you take another test right away? Was that something that was done? And was that confirmed that it was
a couple of days later I went to Tulsa. But by then, see, this is a government thing. They're killing people. They get them into their office. They give them these tests. Well, if you'll read the disclaimer on every one of them, and how many of them are there? 33 different tests. And you read the disclaimer on each one of them, and it clearly says that these tests do not pick up HIV or the presence of any active or non-active virus. It says it right there.
Wow. Well,
it keeps getting deeper. We've been trying to get hold of Robert Gallo for the last 343 days. He will not return our phone call. All these tests that they're giving people, not a damn one of them is FDA approved. The meds that they give you, these antiviral drugs, that's what's killing people.
Have you taken any of the antiviral drugs?
Well, when I was in prison, I had to go stint in prison, and they told me, you gotta take these. If you don't, you're not going on. So I took it for about 14 months while I was in the joint, and they'd tell me how great I was doing. But every time I would cough, stand up too quick, shake someone's hand too hard, sneeze, I just shit all over myself. It's like I was walking around. They're telling me how great I'm doing. People die of these toxic meds. The symptoms, if you take any one of these medications, take out the little paper in the bottle and read what the side effects of the medication is. It matches word for word for the side effects of AIDS medication. Tests to check up, and here's something else. All these tests they have on the market, they also detect up to 80 other contagious ailments. Lupus, diabetes, etc. Huh? Non-contagious, I'm sorry. Well, lupus is contagious, isn't it? Okay, I guess.
Well, at that point, though, when you first get diagnosed, one of the things you said in that press conference, and I know you said it was bullshit before, is that you lived a fast and reckless lifestyle that included unprotected sex with multiple partners. At that point, A, did you have a girlfriend? And B, at that point, did you have anyone come to you and say that they contracted HIV from you? Have you ever had that conversation with anyone?
No. And that, that was a concern of mine. I didn't think my phone would ever stop ringing. And I got around back then. No, you can't pass it. It's impossible. Well, first of all, let's back up a little bit. You cannot give somebody something you don't have. And you damn sure can't give somebody something that doesn't exist. But let me get back to the point I was fixing to make about these tests. There's 80 other contagious ailments, that can cause a false positive. If you have fungus on your feet, which I don't know, I've never seen a fighter that doesn't have fungus on their feet because, you're in boxing boots all day sweating, and I've had a fungus on my feet right out of the womb. The book was called Deadly Deception by Dr. Richard Wilner. The guy's from Spain. This book is blackballed in the United States. It's actually against the law to have it in your possession. Anyhow, I went in, I read it, and I was amazed at what I was reading. So the next day, I went out and hit, 4 or 5 different bookstores. Anyway, I read that book when I got about 6 or 8 other books regarding that big Ramol, and they all come to the same conclusion. This is all bullshit. No one's ever seen the virus. No one's ever isolated it. So this is our government has convinced society. People believe what they see on TV, and they believe what they read. That's how they manipulate and control all of society.
When's the last time you took an HIV test, and how did it come out?
I took one just the other day before yesterday.
Did it still come out positive?
Something else. Pardon me?
Did it still come out positive?
Yeah. Okay. Let me explain the protocol first.
Okay.
If you take the first test and you fail it, well, they give you a confirmatory test, right?
Right.
If you fail it, then they start telling you got some problem. I took the first test, and they said I failed it, but the confirmatory test I passed. So it should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. The doctor started saying, "Oh, don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. The drugs are different these days. Got a good infectious disease doctor for you at Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, which I knew was going to happen when I walked in there. But it should have been the end of it. Even though I passed the confirmatory test, which tells you that you're perfectly fine, he still was trying to push me to go to this infectious disease doctor who would probably had 2 or 3 days after that started to kill me, because that's what kills anybody is highly toxic these antivirals that they give people.
Right, similar to how
it's the grossest, most negligent, fucked up story. I'm sitting on one of the greatest stories never told. Anyone that does not believe me in all the thing that I'm talking about, I'd like to have somebody out there listen. Call Robert Gallo, the inventor of this. And I've been asking for 346 days. I said, I'll take a test in front of the world. But give me a test that picks up HIV. Don't give me a test that picks up lupus. If you got hemorrhoids or not. I don't need that. Show me a test that picks up HIV, and I'll take it in front of the world. Well, they don't have a test that does.
One thing that
they did not have a test.
Kansas City Star reported that when I guess they had
things happen to people all the time. They don't have any idea what just happened to them. If you can connect to things like that, and you've read about it, you've researched it, you've talked to other people about it, it's like weapons and tools that we have available to us all around us, but nobody knows how to get to them. They can't get the toolbox of them because they've never asked God to show, to enlighten them on all the spiritual weapons that they do have. I'm really into that sort of thing. I love it. And it's all a form of preparation. If you sit together when all this happens, there's going to be people that, put it off, and, and when things start going crazy, which will happen because they're going to legalize drugs for everybody. It's the only way they can fight the cartels. Is to legalize every kind of drug. You just get it from a doctor. Doctors are going to become our drug dealers. That's what's coming. It ain't rocket science, none of this shit.
Punch him in the ticker too.
Yeah, I think there's a line of people that would love to do that, but he fits your agenda. I'm not going to sit here and talk all night about government conspiracies and I'm right in the middle of one of them. The whole HIV thing is the biggest. It's the biggest medical fraud in the last 500 years. Plain and simple.
We got Angela. Who would win the fight with you, AIDS or Magic Johnson?
Well, let me give you a little info on that. Magic Johnson was somebody that the establishment pharmaceutical company paid him $60 million to say he had it and to promote their antiviral drugs. I think they were planning on coming to me for that also, but I was one of those guys that was completely opted into the spectrum. So that's what's going on there.
They paid Magic Johnson $60 million?
Of course they did. Absolutely. Paid him $60 million. He quit basketball. Opened, 10 or 12 movie theaters all over. Where do you think he got that money? He got it from them. They paid him $60 million to promote their agenda. Now, there's a lot of things that, the layman person, meaning the guy on the street, they have no concept or no education.
Do you think that Magic Johnson actually has HIV or AIDS?
No.
Or they just paid
hell no, he doesn't have HIV. He doesn't have HIV. The guy's healthy as he's ever been. But this country is, it was founded on religious principles, but maintained by deceit. Nobody tells the truth, especially our government.
Well, we got a couple of people that are dying to talk to you before we let you go. We got Darren from upstate New York. Darren, you're on the line.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing good.
Hey, I just want to throw it out there. I'm a boxing writer. I've been doing writing for a while now, and I've been covering the whole Morrison saga for some time. And I want to verify what Tommy's saying here. Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to contact Dr. Gallo and his staff myself for several months now, and it's impossible to get two simple answers. Can I have the HIV virus test, and can I see a photograph or some proof of the actual virus? And I've got no response either. So Tommy's on point with that.
And again, you can't give somebody something that doesn't exist, guys. People always fell right over that, even though you tell them HIV does not exist. Just like, those horses with wings don't exist. Well, it depends on how much drugs you've taken, but well, my wife does, so,
Your wife who does not have AIDS.
Or HIV.
No, she doesn't have AIDS. She doesn't have anything.
Exactly.
AIDS is, let me explain something one more time. HIV and AIDS are two completely, one doesn't exist at all. Now, AIDS is, that's a for real deal. I mean, that's like depleted blood. People, their blood's so fucked up that, it's depleted, basically. But HIV does not exist. And you cannot give, let me finish, and you cannot give somebody something that doesn't exist, or even if it did exist. I test this day before yesterday. You cannot give somebody something that you don't have. And people that put HIV and AIDS in the same category, obviously are people that believe what they read. I mean, AIDS is a syndrome. It's for real. HIV is something that was created through the media and through the TV. Plain and simple, in the story, and it pisses me off when people come at me with that shit.
Well, there you go, from the man himself, and no one was listening to him. And I recommend you check that interview out because some of the callers in are so disrespectful, it's astounding. And these people, all because of this fraudulent thing, this guy was treated like a leper by all people who mooched off of him during his fame for so long. All his friends, all his family, they treated him like garbage after this false diagnosis. All because of these terrible pharmaceutical nightmare companies that just need spokesmen for their new chemicals and their new ways of killing people by the masses. And they do this every 20-something years. The same people always in charge. They always pass the buck on to the next generation of mind-numbing idiots just craving money and profit, and they don't care about the human. And what they did to this guy was an absolute disgrace. And really, I hope this does a little bit of avenging. His story needs to be known. He was such a nice guy, and he was put through the ringer. And he's got a son that's boxing now, and I wish him the very best. I loved him in Rocky V. He was unbelievable. I always wondered what happened to him, and I was too young to really get it when it was all happening. But I clearly remember my early teen years being terrified of HIV and AIDS. Their propaganda worked so hard, even though I couldn't wrap my hand around it. And that's probably what's happening to the younger generation with this new coronavirus BS. So, again, we can't let the supposed cures kill us. We've got to end these people, and we've got to hold them accountable. Bring them all to justice. Make them pay for their crimes against humanity. It is time to knock them out. For Tommy and for everyone. Bless you all.